Condemnation is growing around the world after the Israeli military attacked a flotilla of ships carrying humanitarian aid to Gaza. This footage captured the moment the operation began, when Israeli commanders boarded one of the main vessels.
Important announcement, one more time. All the brothers on all the decks, we have lost. Take your seats. Come down and take your seats. Be very calm. Come back and take your seats. Assalamu alaikum.
Now, reports say up to 20 peace activists were killed and dozens injured as commandos stormed the flotilla in international waters. Some of the ships are now being towed to the Israeli port city of Ashdod, and that's where Paula Sleer now joins us live. Hello to you, Paula. So have the ships arrived at the port, and do we have any more information on those injured?
Well, the ships haven't actually arrived here at the Israeli port of Ashdod, despite reports over the last few hours that their arrival is imminent. We don't also have any new information about the state of the injured. We know that they have been rushed to Israeli hospitals. There are two main hospitals that are receiving patients. The Israeli emergency services remain in a state of high alert, as do the Israeli police and army. There are concerns that there could be demonstrations later in the day, as we're already seeing in the cities of Amman. We're hearing that there are demonstrations in Lebanon, there are demonstrations in Turkey, and the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has cut short a visit to North America to return home to deal with this unfolding crisis and the potential demonstrations that are expected to unfold here in Israel. Having said all of that, we are hearing, though, that Greece has suspended all kind of military exercises with Israel. We know, too, that several countries are calling for the Israeli ambassadors in those countries to meet with them. Turkey has suspended the Israeli ambassadors, so certainly a lot of international condemnation. The UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has condemned this in the utmost terms. He also says that a thorough investigation needs to take place, and these words are echoed by the Hamas leadership in Gaza Strip. The Prime Minister, Ismail Haniyeh, had this to say.
The Palestinian government calls for an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council. They must discuss and deliberate what happened today in the international waters of the Mediterranean regarding the flagrant violation of the international law governing maritime traffic. The Security Council is also required to raise its voice and take the decision to end the siege of Gaza.
Paula, we're getting global condemnation here and reactions from around the world, but tell us, what are the Israeli authorities saying about this?
The Israeli Defense Minister Ehud Barak held a press conference a short time ago, and he put the blame firmly at the feet of the organizers of the flotilla. In fact, we're hearing the same kind of reports from many Israeli officials. They say that these were not peace activists, but that they were rather people with close ties to Hamas, people with close ties to Al-Qaeda. The Israeli point of view is that they needed to check the cargo. They couldn't simply allow it to flow into Gaza, firstly because they have this economic blockade on Gaza, and secondly because they wanted to make sure that there were no weapons on board that could find their way into the hands of Hamas militants. The conflicting reports are also occurring in terms of what happened on board these ships. Now, according to the Israelis, their commandos stormed one of the ships and they came under fire from people already on the ships. The Israelis saying that there were weapons, there were knives. Their commandos came under live ammunition. Now, the protesters, the organizers of this flotilla, deny this. They say that the Israelis were the first to shoot. So that is something where we are hearing differences of opinion. The Israelis are concerned. There is an alert not only in this country, but Israelis have been warned not to travel to Turkey. So one of the side effects of what we're seeing today certainly is a worsening of relations between Israel and Turkey. It seems as if many of the injured and possibly many of the dead were on board that Turkish vessel. So that is why the Turkish Prime Minister, too, has cut short a trip to Latin America to come back and deal with the problem in his own country.
All right, RT's correspondent Paula Sleer live from the Israeli port city of Ashdod.